Adonai roi lo exar bin odeshe yabitzeni al me menuchot al me menuchot Nafshi yeshovev, yeshovev, yancheni b'maglet tzedek, yancheni b'maglet tzedek, leman shemo. Gam ki elech begetz al mavet lo ira ki ata imadi shivteka umishantecha hema Tarok lefonai, lefonai, shulkan neget sorerai, dishanta vashem roshi kosi revaya. Chesed yidvuni koyemechaya veshavti beven Adonai leorek yamim. Adonai roi lo exar, Adonai roi lo exar.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to the 2020 annual event benefiting Interfaith Partnership of St. Louis. Thank you for logging on as we virtually gather to join in celebrating our remarkable interfaith community and build a stronger, more inclusive St. Louis. We begin tonight's showcase with an invocation and some words of welcome from the event's co-chairs.
Good evening. During a time when hatred and vitriol seem to confront us every place we turn, we come together tonight to affirm the power of unity and of faith. We begin with a reading, a prayer written by Rabbi Michael Latz. Spark of creation and creativity, remind us all that we are made in your image, holy, broken, powerful, vulnerable, purposeful, human. Guide our hands to the work of peace and open our lips to send out missives of kindness. Open hearts to serve ideals greater than our narrow self-interest. Help us to feast on decency and array a table before you with dignity as the main course and mutual respect as our sweet dessert. We pray that we have the strength to face the pharaohs in our hearts and the pharaohs of the world with resolute humor, fierce tenderness, and a commitment that our every act overflows with justice, mercy, and love. As we join together, a beautiful, busted, holy array of humanity, we cry out your name in so many tongues: Buddha, Allah, Adonai, Eternal One, Shepherd, Moshiach. We are here. We are determined. Amen.
God, we pray that in this sacred space, each of us coming from our own unique traditions, we pray that you hear the words that are in our hearts and the words of our lips. May this be an opportunity that brings us together and allows us to be as one, praying in peace, praying for learning, praying for a better world. Oh, hear our prayers, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayers to you.
Thank you for those beautiful words. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a completely new and unique version of Interfaith Partnership's annual event. I'm Lenny Frankel, and I'm here with my event co-chair, Harvey Schneider.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We hope you are comfortable together at home, safe, healthy, and hopeful. Things certainly look different this year from previous annual events of Interfaith Partnership, but through it all, faith remains, along with our desire to feel connected. We hope this evening offers you a little of what Interfaith Partnership has done to showcase all that our faith groups are doing to build bridges of understanding and respect, and that it also gives you a glimpse of what Interfaith Partnership can continue to do and can expand with your support.
That's right, Harvey. We can accomplish so much when understanding and compassion are paramount. But before we go on, Harvey and I would like to take a moment to recognize the committee who has worked so hard behind the scenes to make this virtual event a reality. Each year, a different faith group takes the lead on planning the event. We are proud to be the co-chairs for this amazing group of Jewish leaders and others who not only stepped up to plan the annual dinner, but who stepped up in an even bigger way when the decision was made to go virtual, helping us to navigate uncharted waters to be here with you tonight.
One of the basic tenets of Judaism is tikkun olam, which translated means repairing the world. According to our tradition, we are to make the world a better place during our lifetimes so that it has improved when we depart over what it was when we entered the world. And I'm sure much of that extends to other faith communities. I also want to thank our incredible committee who has made this evening's event possible. Because of our commitment to repairing the world, we are honored to lead this effort to bring so many different faiths together. By building these bridges with 34 different faith groups, you are helping us to show the greater St. Louis community a shining example of understanding and harmony.
I'm sure, like many of you, there's a lot on your mind these days, causing distress and angst. Although I can't see you, I can feel your heads nodding in agreement. We are all feeling this, and it is hard. But you know what feels good? Knowing that we are all in this together. The community that Interfaith Partnership intentionally set up long before COVID is and has always been built around love, warmth, kindness, and a shared responsibility for one another. Tonight's event will focus on what it means to be part of this interfaith community and celebrate two incredible individuals who exemplify not only leadership in their religious communities, but leadership in working with the interfaith community.
Lenny is correct. Disruption, stress, and angst are never what we want to be faced with as a community. However, it has created an opportunity for incredible resilience and even gratitude. We hope tonight's event delivers on that account and brings you warmth, hope, and a reminder of what great things we can accomplish together for each other and for our communities.
And now, to help guide us through the rest of the evening, please welcome Mr. Jeremy Lieb. He is someone who has expressed great interest in Interfaith Partnership, and we are thrilled to have him with us here tonight to act as our MC.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome once again to the Interfaith Partnership's annual event. Some may call it a pivot, or often reimagine. Those are certainly buzzwords that 2020's brought our way, and it's been a challenging and enlightening year without a doubt. But no matter how you describe it, the changes that were made this year show just how determined that this organization is to keeping our communities connected. I'm Jeremy Lieb, and it's my honor and privilege to be your MC for this very special evening. I'll be here to help keep things moving along, and we'll have some fun along the way, I promise. Now, I've truly enjoyed getting to know more about the work of Interfaith Partnership throughout this process, and I hope that tonight brings you the same sort of intrigue and pride for knowing that an organization like IPSTL exists right here in our region. Now, this virtual event, it's kind of new for a lot of us, so don't worry. You're going to see me throughout the show to help recap and explain how things work. So don't worry, no GPS, no Google Maps necessary. I'll keep us all from getting lost, I promise. First things first, let me give you a quick tour of your screen. That way you know how to find things that you might need throughout the evening. What you're watching me on right now is a live streaming video. That means that if you hit pause, there might be a slight delay when you press play again. Now, anytime that you feel inspired to tonight, you can make a 100% tax-deductible donation to IPSTL. It's a simple process, really. You just click a donation level below or enter your own custom amount. Then a small form with a pop-up will come up, and you'll be able to complete your transaction quickly and easily. Now, donation opportunities will remain available throughout tonight's showcase and afterwards, so if you prefer to watch through the entire event first, it's totally okay too. Now, before we continue, I want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the sponsors who have helped make our vision for this event a true reality tonight. It's through the support of these sponsors and through generous donors like yourself that Interfaith Partnership of Greater St. Louis can continue to build bridges and help make our community stronger. First, a special shout out to our bridge builder sponsors, Leanne and Harvey Schneider, the Archdiocese of St. Louis Office of Ecumenical and Religious Affairs, Missouri Conference of the United Methodist Church, and to all of our very generous and faith-filled sponsors who believe in the mission of IP, the unifiers, the connectors, the healers, the helpers, the neighbors. Thank you. Each of you stepped up and in the midst of economic uncertainty, maintained your commitment to our community. Thank you so much for your unwavering generosity and vision. This spirit of giving in times of struggle gives us really great hope, and we're all incredibly grateful. So, what's the plan for tonight? I'm glad you asked. You're definitely going to recognize parts of tonight if you've attended this annual event in the past, and other parts, like myself, might be presented a bit new or presented with a twist. Now, we'll begin with bringing you some stories and examples of the great impact that religious groups and houses of worship can have in our community when we come together. We'll go ahead and recognize and honor the inspiring 2020 Interfaith Lifetime Achievement honorees, and we'll hear from IPSTL's executive director and board members. There will be testimonials highlighted throughout from a diverse group of supporters and local worship centers. Plus, we'll have an exciting bonus guest who wanted to pop in and say hello. I'm looking forward to that because I know who it is. Again, anytime that you feel inspired to give, you're very welcome to use the donate buttons located below this video right here on your screen. No amount's too small, and all of the money raised this evening will go towards helping the Interfaith Partnership of Greater St. Louis to bridge the divisions and form real relationships across differences through understanding, engagement, and advocacy. Now, we hope that you're feeling safe, situated, cozy, and healthy at home, and wherever you are, please know that although we're apart, we're connected tonight by the desire to make a difference. We all have a desire to help repair the fractured world that we live in by showing that love and respect for each other can overcome polarity, fear, and all of those things that tear us apart. Tonight, you'll have the opportunity to turn that desire into action by supporting IPSTL's efforts to improve lives and strengthen our region throughout building powerful relationships and transformative collaborations.
Good evening, friends. I'm Dr. David Otten, Board President of Interfaith Partnership, and I'm so proud of all the amazing work the many religious groups throughout St. Louis have done to navigate these challenging times. This resilience continues to bring hope and healing for so many when we need it most. We hope tonight's event shows you just how Interfaith Partnership is a beacon of hope for our entire community. On behalf of the Board of Directors and our entire community, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our diverse members of the Interfaith Partnership Cabinet. Their partnership, leadership, and creativity inspires us all to be life-giving learners and leaders and to apply the values of our faith to all aspects of life. I want to take a special moment to thank our generous sponsors of this event. These individuals and organizations are what make nights like tonight possible. Their support is inspiring and will help Interfaith Partnership to continue to build bridges and bring our communities together. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the awards we will be presenting later tonight. St. Louis area is lucky to have a wide variety of religious experience. There are many Christian churches, Orthodox, Catholic, and Protestant, as well as groups like the Church of Christ Scientist and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We also have many synagogues representing different branches of Judaism and many mosques representing different expressions of Islam. We have a Baha'i community, several Hindu temples, several Buddhist centers, a Jain community, a Sikh Gurdwara, Unitarian Universalist groups, and an ethical society. For the last 35 years, most of these religious ethical groups have been active in Interfaith Partnership of Greater St. Louis, an organization that supports programs that brings people of different religions together. For years now, Interfaith Partnership has honored one or two members of the interfaith community for their steadfast commitment to deepening relationships across lines of difference. This Lifetime Interfaith Award lifts up the individual's critical role in strengthening the St. Louis regions through their interfaith dialogue and cooperation. As Lifetime Interfaith Achievement awardees, these individuals are recognized for bravely bringing people together, for actively building an interfaith community that is responsive and resilient, for working toward collective transformation, for being a friend to many, for modeling how we can all care for a community that extends beyond a single tradition or congregation, for centering compassion and connection, for providing support and leadership through moments of injustice, pain, and strife, and moments of joy and happiness, and a commitment to recognizing human dignity. The two honorees you will meet tonight certainly exemplify all of these traits. Thank you again for joining us this evening. I know you share this pride with me, for without your moral and financial support, there would be nothing to celebrate. Wishing everyone good health, peace, and strength as we get through this together.
trying times, religious groups have truly stepped up to repair the many breaches that we faced in 2020, supporting their congregants and surrounding communities in whatever way that they can, thinking outside the box to help us all feel safe and connected, despite sometimes feeling like we're all worlds apart. Let's take a look at just a few of the many ways that religious communities have met the needs that surround them. For years, the St. Louis Interfaith community has strived to bridge divisions, to bring unity, and to make ours a community that can flourish, that can live together, and be neighbors for one another. We believe the only way we can overcome the violence caused by our divisions, even the violence done in God's name, is to build relationships with one another. When we get to know one another and learn from one another, no matter how we name the Holy One, we can see we are all God's children. We can recognize one another as neighbors and even love one another. The global pandemic and the events of 2020 are unlike any situation that we hold in living memory. The public health measures being asked of us have disrupted our lives in tremendous ways. The protests and uprisings remind us how fragile our community really is. Though the pandemic disrupts the rituals and practices of religious communities, it has not disrupted patterns of suspicion, polarity, and fear. And yet, the communities of faith and conscience that are part of Interfaith Partnership have responded in amazing and inspiring ways, offering steady connection in a time of social distancing, meeting moral obligations for loving our neighbors, holding hope in the face of despair. Our actions truly affect one another. When we put our interfaith values into action, our community is stronger, experiences less prejudice, and is more resilient. While the pandemic interrupts the rituals by which we practice our faith, it simultaneously calls for us to mobilize that faith and to take responsibility for repairing a world that's been ripped apart this year. The St. Louis Interfaith community has the power to build relationships through understanding, to overcome polarity and fear through collaboration and cooperation, and enact the future that we all know is possible.
Thank you, Jeremy. And thank you to all of you for joining us for the first and hopefully only virtual annual dinner. Last year was my first Interfaith Partnership dinner. It was an amazing experience. Seeing so many people from so many religious traditions sitting elbow to elbow and shoulder to shoulder, joining in a night of true community was inspiring. It was evidence of what is possible when people of faith from different backgrounds and traditions get to know one another. There was no way then to foretell all the events that would transpire to keep us from joining together a year later. Tonight, the fact that we are forced to celebrate physically apart from one another is a fitting reminder of the fractured world we find ourselves in. We seem to be facing a series of pandemics, from COVID-19 and racial injustice to the current political crisis and political polarization. In such divisive and isolating times, Interfaith Partnership's mission matters, maybe more than ever. We are willing to engage in the conversations and actions that steer broad change through the power of community. We draw upon the faith and wisdom of our traditions that inspire us to imagine a St. Louis that we know is possible. Our visions and practices compel us to acts of service across lines of difference. The Interfaith Partnership of Greater St. Louis is poised to address the many pandemics plaguing us and to help repair our region and heal our world. We can meet this moment, but we need your help. Friends, if you believe in the mission of Interfaith Partnership and are able to give, or if you've already given and are able to give more, please visit interfaithstl.org/repair or text REPAIR to 76278 to give now. We need your investment in our work, in the work we do together. We need your help to ensure the programs we deliver, such as Sprouts of Peace, are of the highest quality. We need the capacity to strongly advocate against religious violence and discrimination. We need technology to keep up with the abrupt changes the pandemic has brought. We need resources to help support and build positive and loving community. Your investment will provide healing where needed, prevent prejudice and bigotry from taking root, and build a world where all can thrive. Together, we will help bolster our fragile community and repair this fractured world by showing love and respect for each other. Together, we can build a more thriving and stronger community where everyone feels valued and safe and has a role to play. Together, with your involvement, we can create a better St. Louis, more kind, compassionate, and just. Thank you for being our partners and keeping our mission strong. Please give.
Now, if you were listening to a word that Mr. Poinsett was saying just now, I'm sure those words are ringing true with you like they are with me tonight. If you feel the same way, please take a moment to donate and help IPSTL continue their inspiring work. You can donate using the buttons below, or if you're watching on your computer and you've got your phone handy, you can simply text the word repair to 76278 and give via mobile as well. Now, by the way, if you're somebody who needs processing time, like some folks I know, don't stress. You can come back to this website anytime over the next few weeks and make your mark. You can also send in a check or call to make a pledge if you prefer. All of the contact info you need is listed below right here on this website. Also, we recorded tonight's event, so if you need to show your kids or want to show your friends or colleagues or forward it on, go for it. The more the merrier. Spread the love. Were you especially drawn to one of our awesome videos or speakers? We'll post them on Interfaith's partnership Facebook page and invite you to repost. Now, speaking of speakers, have I told you about our special secret guest yet tonight? I don't think I have. It's going to be fun. I'll give you a hint. We have somebody joining us later tonight that's done a mound of work in St. Louis. We hope he'll inspire you to go to bat for Interfaith Partnership now and all season long. Stay tuned. Some pretty good puns. I bet you're figuring this out, aren't you? If you decide to give it any time tonight, as a special thank you, IPSTL has developed something new to help you ring in the new year. Let's hear now from Aaron Fisher, IPSTL's Director of Communications, about this thoughtful gift that truly emphasizes the mission of Interfaith Partnership.
As a special thanks to everyone who gives, we are gifting donors with a 2021 Interfaith calendar, which will include photographs of beautiful details from houses of worship throughout the region, alongside dates of major religious holidays, so that we can all follow along and learn more about the observances of our religiously diverse family, friends, and neighbors. Learning more about each other's holidays is a simple but powerful way to strengthen our connections to each other and to build a stronger, more inclusive St. Louis region where we all feel safe and supported practicing our beliefs.
Friends, it's now that time of the evening where we get the extreme pleasure of meeting and honoring two members of the St. Louis community who've been chosen to receive the 2020 Interfaith Lifetime Achievement Award. As board president, Dave Otten mentioned earlier, for years now, Interfaith Partnership has honored one or two members of the interfaith community for their steadfast commitment to deepening relationships across lines of difference. This Lifetime Interfaith Award lifts up the individual's critical role in strengthening the St. Louis regions through their interfaith dialogue and cooperation. Tonight, you'll also see that the 2019 recipients have graciously joined us to honor their peers. Reverend C. Jessel Strong and Miss Billy Mayo will be joining you on screen shortly to introduce one of our two Lifetime Achievement awardees. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Lifetime Achievement awardees.
Good evening. I am the Reverend C. Jessel Strong, retired presiding elder in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and one of last year's honorees. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce one of this year's honorees, Sister Carla Mae Streeter, a Dominican sister who was the first woman to complete a theological doctorate at Regis College. Sister Carla Mae is the author of Foundations of Spirituality, The Human and the Holy and Religious Love in Bernard Lonergan as Hermeneutical and Transcultural, 2013. She serves on the board of the Institute for the Theological Encounter with Science and Technology. She is also the director of Compassionate St. Louis, founder of the Abrahamic Textual Dialogue Group, which meets regularly to discuss sacred scriptures from Muslim, Christian, and Jewish perspectives. I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Sister Carla Mae on the Workers' Rights Board of Jobs with Justice and Compassionate St. Louis. It is indeed my honor to introduce Sister Carla Mae Streeter.
I entered the religious community of the Dominican Sisters quite early, quite young. In 1975, I was invited by one of our sisters, and she invited me to go to Israel with her. And it changed my life because it got me out of my Catholic telephone booth, and I began to realize that that we had to relate with all these different people. You do your interfaith work from within a home base. I feel that the Catholic Christian community is home for me. With that, I will talk to Episcopalians, Baptists, Jews, Muslims, Sikhs. From there, but I know where home is for me, and I always come home. When someone is religiously in love, no matter what religious tradition, they have a lens by which they can read other people's mail. In other words, they can read the Gita, or they can read the Vedas, or they can read the Kabbalah, or they can read the Quran with love. Religious love gives you an attitudinal stance of openness and hospitality. I have wonderful stories about Dr. Rana, who received this award some time back, just before he died. So I said, Dr. Rana, we know nothing about your holy book, so why don't you tell us the story behind your holy book? So he knew that coming there, he was going to be gifting us with what is in the Quran. And then one day he came to me and he said, we should be doing your book too. It's one of my dearest memories. That's when we began the Abrahamic Textual Dialogue. That's when we began to invite the Jewish community, the Muslim community, and various members of the Christian community to do their texts together. To create a future, you have to challenge an exclusivism. You have to challenge the attitude of unwelcome. I see interfaith as vital to this cultural change. We have to always ask, who is not at the table? Who is not being included here? Who is this going to really inconvenience? Who is this going to hurt? I think the role of interfaith partnership is to ask those deeper human, compassionate questions and not to apologize for it, but to really speak to power and to say, if we do not consider this, we are not really caring for all of our people, period. We are not going to be just a pious organization. Oh no, we just have the modest goal of transforming the region, that's all. Until I have no breath anymore, that's what I am going to work for.
Good evening, Interfaith family and friends. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening, even though this is a very unique way for us to gather. However, we know that we are flexible human beings, and whatever the situation presents or how it presents itself, we can rise to whatever we need to do so. And so I have the distinct pleasure of having the honor to introduce to you one of the awardees for this year's Interfaith Dinner. I was humbled at the fact that last year I was selected along with Reverend C. Jessel Strong as one of the recipients, and I am still humbled at the fact that that particular award was given to me. Let me tell you a little bit about Reverend Dieter Heisel. He is the Associate Pastor of Faith Formation at Ladue Chapel Presbyterian Church. This man with this distinguished presence, you walk into the room, or he walks into the room, and you see Dieter, and you know he's there. He was originally born in Nuremberg, Germany. He's lived, though, however, in St. Louis since 1987. He received his theological training at Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, and he earned a PhD from Princeton Theological Seminary, both schools of the Presbyterian Church USA. Reverend Heisel currently represents the Presbytery of Giddings Lovejoy on Interfaith Partnerships Cabinet, and he serves as adjunct faculty at Eden's Theological Seminary. In his role as associate pastor and as adjunct faculty, he has taught extensively on the practical and theoretical aspects of interfaith and ecumenical work. It is with great joy that I present to you, for some, and many of you already know him, this wonderful, unique, and very special man, Reverend Dieter Heisel.
I stand on the shoulders of so many people who have come before me and who have been great mentors and teachers. I'm very honored to stand next to Carla May Streeter, who has been one of my teachers and mentors for a long time. My involvement in interfaith work began more or less when I began my work here at Ladue Chapel, and I went to seminary in Austin, Texas. There I met a Jewish painter. And when I was growing up in Germany, I had not met one Jew in the entire time that I have lived there, which was about 23 years. Obviously, most of the Jews had either been killed in the Holocaust or left the country because of the Holocaust. So there were no synagogues around in Nuremberg where I grew up, which was the city of the Nazi party rallies. All of the synagogues had been burned and razed to the ground, and there was not much evidence of Jewish life in the city anymore. When I was in seminary, we had a Jewish artist present her work. Her name is Carolyn Mansovitz, and when she gave her lecture, I was just struck by the profound hurt and pain that she had experienced in her life. Most of her family had been killed in the Holocaust. After her lecture, I went to the president of the seminary and I said, "Could you make a connection for us?" He called her. She said no. because she had promised herself that in her lifetime no German would ever enter her home. And then 3 days later, she called back and she said, well, tell him to come to my studio. She said, well, what do you want here? Why have you come here? And I said, I was looking perhaps for some sort of reconciliation. And she said, well, not in my lifetime. But then we proceeded to talk for about 3 hours. And when I left, we were both in tears and we hugged, and Carolyn and I have become really good friends, and that was, well, a good 25, almost 30 years ago now. The last time I was there, she took me to her studio and she showed me a painting that she had done, and she said, this painting is called Reconciliation, and I painted it after our first meeting, and it's been in my studio for all these years, and I think now you need to have it. It's now in my office, and it's a daily reminder to me how important this work is. Interfaith work is very fragile, and it takes a lot of time to build relationships. Takes a lot of time for people to trust one another. And one of the things that I have always appreciated about Interfaith Partnership is really its motto, that we agree to disagree, we unite to serve, and we promise to love. Love in the Christian tradition and love in general is a choice. It's an ethical choice that we make to love each other in a time when the other may not be all that lovable. Is even more important and more pertinent than I can remember in my own lifetime. And I've been around for a while, so I hope that we can truly make a difference, appreciate each other's dignity, and carry that forth.
One of Interfaith Partnership's signature programs is Sprouts of Peace. This program provides opportunities for children and their parents to learn and build relationships with families of different faith traditions. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has kept these families from gathering in person. However, the IPSTL staff pivoted recently to provide Sprouts families with the Sprouts of Peace Home Library. Every couple of months, 150 families receive a children's book that explores a religious tradition. Along with book, families are provided guiding questions and an activity to help facilitate interfaith conversation and growth from afar until it's safe to meet in person again. Now, Interfaith Partnership recently received a grant from the Cardinals Care Community Fund to help this program grow. The Cardinals Care Fund recognizes the important effect that interfaith respect and cooperation has on our shared community. They also recognize the work of IPSTL and the potential that they have to transform our St. Louis region from the group up, even during a pandemic. Now, friends, this is another opportunity to support the work of the Interfaith Partnership. I personally invite you to team up with the Cardinals and give so that the Sprouts of Peace and other transformational programs of IPSTL can continue their important work. In honor of this special gift, we now have a special Redbird himself that wanted to help send his own words of encouragement. He's a great voice in our St. Louis community, one who's as passionate about baseball as he is about bridge building and helping us to recognize our similarities rather than our differences.
Hey everybody, this is Adam Wainwright with the St. Louis Cardinals, and this message goes out to the Interfaith Partnership St. Louis Virtual Gala. I just think it's so great of y'all to join everybody at the virtual gala tonight. You know, there's a lot of reasons why you couldn't have made it tonight, and you made it happen anyways, but Interfaith Partnership is so important to St. Louis. Promoting peace and justice by building bridges between diverse communities is really, really important. So kudos to you for working to support religious cooperation, understanding, and dialogue between those groups. So thanks for your work. Thanks for all you do for our community, and God bless all of you. And go Cardinals. See ya.
Thanks again, Adam. I don't know about you, but that certainly made me smile. And hopefully, the importance of this organization is becoming oh so more aware and evident to our region and yourselves. We want to thank our sponsors again. We want to thank the committee again for putting this all together this evening, and everybody that's been donating throughout the evening and donating in the days and weeks to come. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts as well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy. May God bless, and we'll see you soon.
As you heard Dr. David Otten say earlier tonight, our goal was to showcase the ways that Interfaith Partnership is a beacon of hope for our region. I hope this showcase has moved you to give. Even after the credits roll, there's still time to donate. If you believe in the mission of Interfaith Partnership, visit our website or text REPAIR to 76278 to give now. We need your investment in our work and the work that we do together. We need your help to ensure programs we deliver are of the highest quality. We need the capacity to strongly advocate against religious violence and discrimination. We need technology to keep up with the abrupt changes the pandemic has brought. We need resources to help support and build positive and loving community. Your investment will provide healing where needed, prevent prejudice and bigotry from taking root, and build a world where all can thrive. Together, we will help bolster our fragile community and repair this fractured world by showing love and respect for each other. Together, we can build a more thriving and stronger community where everyone feels valued and safe and has a role to play.